welcome back to another episode of In Love with Love podcast. I am Anja.
And I'm Nicole.
And we are absolutely in love with love. And today we have a super duper duper special guest.
So excited! This guest is one of my favorite people. And you know what? I have to... Barnett is the last name since she's gotten married, because I've known her for years now. Miss Viola Barnett, who is a lovely married woman with children. You're going to learn all about her. She's amazing, amazing, amazing. So anyway, there's so much I could say. Like, I love you. You know that.
I love you.
We've been rocking for a long time.
Yes.
It just was just a God thing, like just walking through the mall. Ooh, let's just stop and get a makeover, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And 45 minutes to an hour later in conversation and just finding out where she was from and what, oh my God, this is amazing. And I don't even know why we exchanged numbers. But
I don't know.
I guess because it was like, I need her to do my face later because Anja found out she's amazing. She did our makeup.
She whipped us up real good.
But the awesome thing about her is she's about so much more than makeup. She's such a creative. So you're in for a treat. Take it away, Miss.
Absolutely. So, hi, Viola.
Hello, ladies. Thank you for that introduction. Man, I forgot how we even met. That's how long we've just been vibing. And we've had so many memorable moments that one just kind of faded to the left, So it was nice to be reminded of that. Yeah. I'm good. I'm glad to be here. How are you, ladies?
We're well, but I'm just like in love because this is In Love with Love, but I'm in love with that outfit.
Hey.
I'm in love with the colors. I'm in love with the summer vibe.
Yes, and the boots.
Yay. Oh my goodness, you look absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look wonderful. So were you always this colorful and creative, or was it something that developed within you over time?
Oh, I was definitely an interrupter when it comes to the way I dress. I always been that way, and I think it stemmed from my parents. My grandmother was a seamstress, and my dad was a tailor. And growing up in Brooklyn, New York, even though we're from Trinidad, going to a public school in Brooklyn, they had their old Trini ways, and I was like the last child that was born here. Everybody else was born in Trinidad, and I was born in Brooklyn. But it was like I grew up in a Trini household. Anyways, my dad was so everything. He was so my pea coats. He was so uniforms for us to go to school in the public school. So me being pissed off at 4, wondering why I can't wear, so maybe it was a part rebellious, but at the same time, it was a matter of appreciation for fabric and for being different and for just, it's
a rebel. You're a rebel.
You know it. You know it.
Well, first of all, because that's such a lost art, just sewing, cobbler, tailoring.
Oh man, preach.
You are so blessed to have grown up in that environment.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself, because I know that was back then, but do you find yourself still kind of like carrying away, or did you learn any of the tools?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God, we're best friends now.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Bless her heart. Before my grandmother passed, she made sure I knew how to knit. I know how to do tatting. Nice. I know how to do like back stitching. Nice. I can basically put these walls up in here. I can do it's amazing. And I thought everybody could do that. That's the crazy part. I didn't think of it as something that was different.
That was the norm.
Yeah. It was cool. My daughter asked me the other day, she was like, so how are we going to put this together? I said, we're going to stitch it.
Yeah.
She's 6, guys. So she was like, we're gonna stitch it, I mean, that's what I said. So anyways, it's good. It's definitely a lost form, but there's some places it still exists, like on sets, movie sets. You still need a seamstress on hand. Nordstrom still has a tailor shop in store. Not trying to promote Nordstrom, but I'm just saying.
They actually have an anniversary still going on right now. Nordstrom, y'all need to contact us, okay? Okay,
yes. So if you wear something and it doesn't fit right, you could take it right downstairs. They have a shop they have a tailor or a seamstress.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's such. But and I'm asking this because in a world where fast fashion is king and everybody has the same everything, how does a creative person like you feel about it, thrive in the world? Like, how do you deal with that?
It don't bother me, you know. It don't bother me. I mean, you know, the stores have always had like redundant styles, and you know, kind of the same thing. But and I know it comes from my parents because my older brother and my older sister, we're all the same. We all have these like, we're all like off the just rebels when it comes to fashion. So it didn't bother me. If I bought it from the store, I'd just cut off a sleeve or something and put a different sleeve from a different shirt on. And then everybody's like, where'd you get that from? My closet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which makes me think about a question, because Andrea and I were talking, we're always talking, but I love her conversations. But we were talking about how trends, I guess, if you will, even with makeup, the lashes, hair, the edges, if you will, how everyone looks the same. And what, I guess, words of wisdom, advice, or encouragement would you give, even because you think about your daughter who is 6,
Right. Yes. 6 years old. Yes.
To survive and to flourish in a world where everybody's like it's like a robot, like a machine, like we're just
right.
so similar.
It's definitely very challenging because I want her to have her own identity and stomp to the beat of her own drum, which she does already. But at the same time, I don't want her to look down on those who do have on everything that everybody else has on and the same hairstyles and all that. So it's a very thin line, but it helps me to teach her how to be really just a good human and how to be compassionate and still know that nobody can tell you that what you have on or how your hair is or, you know, how you walk or how your big toe isn't right. You know, for real. Kids are ruthless. Listen.
It does start in childhood too.
Yeah.
And it carries on into the adulthood.
We've had a guest on the show, one of our episodes, where our guest we were talking about, you know, just being body conscious and not feeling like you're ever enough. And either you're too big or you're too small or you're too tall or you're too short, you know. So it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Body dysmorphia, right?
Body dysmorphia is absolutely real.
Yeah.
So,
what are like, give me 2 or 3 tenets that you live by.
2 or 3 tenets that I live by.
Yeah.
If you are not uncomfortable, you're not trying hard enough. At least 3 times a week, you should feel uncomfortable. And that's in everything. I try to teach that to the kids too. If you're doing math and you're done first all the time, we need to make it hard. You know, we need to step it up a notch. I live by that. I live by self-care is just as important as any other care in the world. Okay. And that's huge for a wife and a mom because we forget about us many times. But, you know, I it's important to put my foot down and make space for me. I forget about me, you know, so that's important. And the third one I would say is when you are in a position to help someone else, do what you said you're going to do +1. Do a little bit more because givers gain. Givers gain. Yeah, it's so imperative.
It makes me think about, is there scripture that talks about if someone asks you to go a mile, go
yes. Go
extra
to,
go to 2.
Yes.
I'm paraphrasing y'all.
I know. I don't know.
But it's something like that.
Yeah, that's so important because, you remember me. You expected me to come with this, and I said I would do that, but you didn't expect me to give the extra.
I love it.
And by me going the extra, it goes according to the first thing I said, right? That I had to make myself uncomfortable. Doesn't mean that I knew what I was doing to do that extra, but I did it.
Right.
And because you didn't expect it.
I love it because her tenets are from what we talk about often, a pure heart. I love that.
Yeah. Did you learn that from your family, or were these things that were developed in you, or do you feel like they were just stuff that you picked up along the way?
Oh, no, I have mentors. Let's just talk about it. I got mentors, you know. I look at, there's 4 pillars that I focus on when it comes to life, and that's family, fitness, finance, and faith. And it's in order for me to excel, I have goals in each one of those quadrants. And in order for me to excel in each one of those, the person who's going to help me in finance is probably not the best mom. So I don't really need them to coach me in that area. You know what I mean? But, and mind you, all these mentors, not all my mentors know that they're my mentors.
I love it.
You know, I may just spend more time with you than a normal person may do, you know, but that's the way I structure everything. That's the way I structure my calendar. That's the way I structure my vision boards.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I structure all that, because if I'm not pushing again, how am I going to get to the next level? So no, it was not innate in me. I didn't come from that. My family was very content with being Poe. Okay. Very content. And they didn't know they were.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't know I was. I didn't know I was wearing tailor-made stuff because we couldn't really afford to buy the clothes. Yeah. But I didn't see it like that. I felt like, hey, nobody else has what I have.
Nope.
So,
I love
you know what I mean? So,
And what I also love, just to interject.
Yeah.
I and Jay were having this conversation about a lost art of apprenticeship or mentorship. And I love the fact that you come out with this idea, this notion of, I need mentors. Like, I can't arrive at a place, I don't think you should arrive at a place alone. Like, there are people that have been doing this way longer, way better, can teach you something. And
absolutely. Absolutely. The fastest way, and a lot of different books say this, a lot of different speeches, life coaches, etc. say this. The fastest way to get to the top is to get someone that's already up there to rub shoulders with you. You know how much work they had to go through to get there? You don't have enough time to do that. And it's just like, I don't know where it is in the Bible, but they say in the Bible that well, I don't know what they say in the Bible. Let me tell you what I say, okay? Before I mess it up.
Right.
But basically what it is that, you know, our children's floor is our ceiling, right? So whatever, like, am I going to kick my child out at 18? Absolutely not. No, I'm going all over the place, but follow me. You know, I'm not going to do that, because the farthest I can go, they need to start. They need to land. Their feet need to be planted on that ground that we created. Same thing with mentors. They're there. And people want to help.
Yeah.
People want to help, but they're not going to just help everybody. They're going to help those who are willing to endure, willing to be diligent, willing to be disciplined, willing to listen. So,
and I love the fact that I don't know that I've heard people define mentorship in the way, I guess, that you're saying, but I love the idea, because I feel it's a real thing. You can receive mentorship for someone that never even knows that they're mentoring you. I really believe that. I do.
Yeah.
And I never
Are
thought
you
about
currently
it.
a mentor to anyone?
Probably, and I don't even know.
Watching and then that's exactly what we're saying.
Intentionally, not at the moment that I know of, you know, other than my 2 little ones. But
that's a good job.
yeah, you know, that I don't take lightly. But I would love to, you know. Actually, that's not true. I do have someone I'm coaching with my business, and I'm teaching them how to do it as well too. And I prayed for that. And I remember the first person that came along, I didn't notice that my prayer was being answered. Don't you hate when that happens? It's like, wait a minute, I kind of missed that.
It, right?
Yeah, so it came again. Thank you, God, for grace. It came again. And and I'm coaching him, and he's in New York, and I'm so grateful that he thinks highly of what I'm doing to want to learn it as well too.
So we got 2 juicy questions. Speaking of that, that's a good segue. What are you doing by way of your love of your career now? Because you're so much bigger than makeup, which makeup is amazing. And then we want to ask you about your journey to the altar, journey of love, your family, all of that. So we can start with what are you doing? What's happening? What
does your artistry look like? What's going on? Not just artistry with art, but shifts in life. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So these days, I have a huge makeup background, as many of you guys know. However, I had a transition. I had a shift, you know, and I had to pivot. And that was during COVID. And I developed a love for digital marketing. And I became a digital marketing agency. And I learned all the tricks and trades. Why? Because I got an amazing mentor, couple. It's a husband and wife.
Oh, beautiful.
Husband and wife. And they're hard. Don't get it twisted. They're hard.
Yeah.
But they taught me everything I need to know about digital marketing. I can rank anything. I can rank. If you want to sell flowers, I can get you to the top of flowers in Albuquerque, New Mexico, wherever you are. Okay. Whatever you are doing, if you're running a business, at the end of the day, you see, the problem is so many people get into business and they don't realize that you need marketing. You can't, they're not, you can't, you just spend thousands of dollars to learn this skill and this trade and years to learn it. And nobody knows that you're the dentist down the street. So in a nutshell, I build websites, I get it ranked to the top of Google, and I work directly with the business owners, which is my favorite part because I'm at a point in life where I get to choose who I work with. Yes. I don't have to say yes to everybody. And the ones that say yes to me are the ones for me, because not everybody is for everybody, right? So I'm grateful that I do get to work with some good people because it ends up being a partnership. I'm helping them add more food to their table, so they help add food to mine.
Love it, love it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I love that you said that they are very hard on you, your mentors who taught you digital marketing, because that also shows the willingness. A lot of people said that they want something, but they're not willing to really grind and go after it, especially in this microwave generation that we have. If anything feels uncomfortable, that must, maybe this must not be it. This ain't it. But that's absolutely not true, because anything worth having is worth fighting for and grinding for.
You got to be uncomfortable. Comfort means you have already conquered, right? You got that.
Right.
Well, I mean, at the same time though, how does that message relate to a lot of women who are in their soft girl era? They said they don't want to be bothered with that. They've done that.
That's fine for them.
What did
okay.
you say?
The women who are in their soft girl era.
Oh, the soft girl.
Their self-grow.
No, soft girl.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, I think you said soft grow, I don't want to grow. Okay, I'm like, well, that's them. Soft girl era. Okay, so soft girl era is kind of where I'm minimizing. Is that what's happening?
They're minimizing. They're choosing peace. They choose comfort. They don't want no drama. They want to, honestly, let me live like I've lived. They want to frolic in the flowers.
Okay.
Yeah, but at the same time,
that's probably a huge transition for a lot of them.
It is a huge transition.
And that's hard. And they chose their hard. And everybody gets to choose your hard. You know what I mean? And they decided that, hey, I'm going to make it hard for me. For example, I want to lose weight. I've done intermittent fasting. It's great. I want to get back on track. But I know it works, so it's not hard. So I don't go after it. So in order to make it hard, I'm looking to do a half marathon. Because that's my new home. That's my heart.
But I love that you challenge yourself past, and that's what trainers tell us to do, right? If it's, let me know if it's too easy, because then we can add some weights or whatever. Because the resistance is what helps develop the muscle, right? It helps with, they say, growth is learned through struggle. You know what I mean? And don't get it twisted. I'm a hard knock life. I gotta struggle. Not saying that, it's just a level of challenging yourself. So
it's definitely the climb.
That's it. And we all have our own different challenges, our own different wants. It's so in regards to the soft girl era, sometimes I want to be in the soft girl era too. And that's hard, because that means I got that time that I'm carving out for me, it didn't exist.
And I will say, perhaps there are seasons of it. So maybe if people were they worked hard, maybe 20, 30 years or whatever, they were tired. Perhaps there are seasons to that.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. So, but I love what I do. It's been blessing. It's been a blessing to bless others with their babies. When it's your business and you grew it from the ground up, that's your baby. You don't want anybody to just come and interfere with that. So I can't take that lightly.
And before we forget, where can people find you if they need that type of support?
Yes, thank you. So you can find me on any of the social media platforms, and my website is www.gwinnetteseo.com. And that's just because I live in Gwinnett and I started there, but I can help you wherever you're at.
Hey. Shout out to Gwinnett. Yes.
All 13 cities.
Nice.
So you can find me there. You'll see all my contacts there, my handles, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, I'm on it. And most of what you'll see on there has really nothing to do with me. You'll see promotions of all my other businesses, all the other the clients that I'm helping, etc. But yeah, and I give out a free audit. So if anybody has a website that already exists and they just want to know, hey, what can I do to make it better? I lead with value. I give you some free tips. I literally give them the game. I give them the game plan, guys. I let them know this is exactly what I'm going to do without saying this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just say this is what you need to do. But it's just like a recipe. All right. I don't know if you guys love to cook, but I don't like to bake because it takes forever. All right, there's 1,000 ingredients. 1,000 ingredients.
If you mess up with baking, like any little thing, the whole thing is off. It's not like cooking where you could kind of douse the doctorate.
Right.
Baking is a science.
You preaching. Yeah, exactly. So, and I say that to say, although I give you the tools to the city, if you're a busy business owner, you don't have the time to pick up the tools. Even if you know how to do it,
it's
you're not going
important
to
to outsource if you can.
Exactly. So I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. I'm like your Angie's List. I'm like your Angie's List or your Yelp. But just the individual with the small. I do have a crew of people that I work with that are amazing, and we just help you get to the top. That's really our job. It's been a blessing.
You mentioned something earlier. You said about a vision board. How often do you recreate your vision board?
So I used to do it once a year. Right now, I'm doing it 3 times a year, and I'm looking forward to next year doing it 4 times a year.
So once a quarter.
So yes.
Love it.
And maybe even more, but right now, once a quarter, I think that's a good goal to have. I'm surprised I'm even doing it 3 times a year. It's really because everything that I put on it, I struck off. Everything is done. It's time to create another one.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I don't just sit and create a vision board.
Nicole says she goes hard. she actually came to a vision board party that I hosted one year.
Yes.
And that's where I heard the story. I had the privilege of hearing the story about how she, I don't want to say manifested, participated in the manifestation because God manifested her husband for her.
Yes.
But it started with the vision board.
Yes, it did. Yes, it
Tell
did.
us
That
about
was
it.
Okay, so that was an old one, of course. I try to keep pictures of all my vision boards, but this one, yes. So my husband, this goes back to my sister. So my sister she's always been one of those people that if she reads a book and the book says, "Hey, you're gonna lose 60 pounds," or the pill says you're gonna lose it, she's taking it and she's doing it to the T. And it's gonna happen. Okay. And I don't know if it's because I was a New Yorker or just being an optimist. I was just like, Z, you got to. I mean, these things are not working. They're not working, But I'm the younger sister. She don't want to listen to me. So I said, okay, whatever the next thing is, I'm gonna do it with her. So I could prove it to her that it doesn't work. Maybe she could see it that way. Well, the next thing was we read this book. We're gonna find a man. We're gonna find our husband.
Right.
I said, perfect. I'll play this. I don't mind.
I can try this.
I don't mind. I'll try it. So I start reading the book and I start dedicating it. I start pouring into it. And I go to this restaurant, this Jamaican restaurant. I don't eat meat, so I was ordering my fish. And I'm there and I see this guy at the counter and he's talking to all the people in the back of the restaurant. And there's this little old lady on the side, but the guy just keeps talking. You ever go to a Jamaican restaurant? First of all, it don't matter if you ordered it or not. It's not ready, okay? It's not ready. So we're all sitting there, all 15 people, right? So needless to say, as I'm sitting there, I'm reading it on my iPad 1. That's how long ago this was, okay? And I'm reading it, and I'm like, okay, all right. I'm just, manifesting because I really do believe in the law of attraction. But I know that it doesn't work if you don't put in the work with the, you know what I mean? Right, I got to point that out. So as I'm leaving, the lady keeps staring at me, though. Like, we're at the same level. We're sitting down, and the lady keeps staring. She's all the way across the room, and she keeps staring at me. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how I'm attracting this lady, but okay, whatever. So I leave. I walk out. As I get to my car, I hear a guy say, hey, you're a beautiful Trinidadian woman. I'm from Trinidad, guys. Big up Trinidad. So I said, okay. I turn around and I'm like, oh, perfect. He's light skinned. I don't like light skin. I like dark skin. Because, we all got this image in our head of what is the thing. What does he look like? I forget about what he's going to come. I know what he needs to come with, but he looks dark skinned, tall, this and that. But the reason why I said perfect is because I know I got to play the rules, right? And I won't be tempted to break the rules if I got the guy.
Now, what are the rules?
The one. Oh, that's the name of the book. The book is called All the Rules. It's a very, very, very old book. And
I've heard of
basically
it.
it's like everything that your grandma probably would have told you.
Okay.
Like, don't accept a date on Wednesday for tomorrow. You need to wait, tell them next week. I don't care if you're starving. Don't answer the call on the first call. Like, let it go to the voicemail, and let it answer machine. Actually, it said answer machine because it was so old. So, and I was like, reading it and whatever. And I was following the rules. Don't let them pick you up. Obviously don't fornicate. Don't do any of those things. So I was following the rules. I said, okay, cool. I asked him, I said, hey, what's this, no, he asked me, what are you about to go do? I said, I'm going home to do laundry. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to go play with these two girls right here. And he showed me his screensaver, and it was two girls on the screensaver. And I said, oh, God, that's even better. He has kids. I don't want a guy with kids. This is even better. This is going to be perfect. I get to prove my sister wrong.
As a part of the experiment? Was
Absolutely. Absolutely. It took me about 3 years to tell him, but absolutely. So just to fast forward, I went ahead and those were his nieces. Those weren't his kids. And we just kept, we go out to eat all the time or whatever, and we'll meet at the location. And we did it for about 3.5, 4 months. And then I'm still praying, though. Like, I'm in my real life. Like, I'm praying. This is like fake, the experiment, right? So in my real life, though, I'm like, God, give me my guy. I made room for him. I had an empty drawer for him. I had a toothbrush for him. I'm like, he needs to live here. It's going to happen. It is going down. But at the same time, I'm playing all these games, over here. All right. 3.5 months in, I said, you know what? I'm getting tired of playing all these rules. I said, let me just see if, I could break a rule. Right? We were getting ready to go out to eat somewhere. And I said, you know what? Instead of us meeting out, we literally lived like around the corner from each other. But I was playing these rules and he couldn't pick me up. We would just, I'll meet you there. I said, why don't we go together? You know what he said to me? He said, well, yeah, here's my address. Come pick me up.
Wow.
No, he didn't.
I said, I knew it. That's why I didn't want to break any of the rules. I said, I knew it. I said, never mind. I'm not even hungry. I said, never mind. We're not going out. I didn't talk to him for probably about another 3 to 4 months. Just so having my phone number changed or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that turned you off.
So even if he tried to call me, it was no option. So I was like, all right, whatever. So then I'm praying. And then at like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm praying, ready to go to bed. And I said, God, for real, like, where's the guy? I thought you told me I was going to have a husband. I thought you told me, like, you gave me a time. You were pretty specific. Right. What's going on? Right. And then his face pops up in my prayer. I said, him? I was like, he wants me to pick him up.
At the bar?
Right, like, come on. I was like, come on, son. God, really? So I was like, God, honestly, I never asked you to show me more, but I'm going to need a sign. I'm going to need a little bit more than just his face. Maybe he was on my mind. The minute I get up from my prayer, I look on my phone, and this is like 2 a.m, and his face pops up on Facebook with one of my favorite reggae artists. Right. And back then, which was like 12, 15 years ago, the algorithm wasn't as keen as it is now. Right. So if you weren't friends, you weren't seeing anybody who wasn't your friend. It just so happened it was a mutual friend of ours. I didn't even know she knew him or whatever. Fine. I was like, okay, don't call him now. This is obviously the sign. I hear you, God. But I'm not calling him right now. It's booty call time. We're going to wait until tomorrow. I call him the following day, and he was like, I know exactly what it is. You just threw me to the curb like a piece of gum wrapper or whatever. And then I said, just for the record, this time I put the book aside. I said, okay, let me pay attention since God put me on assignment now, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, let me pay attention. I said, just for the record, if you like someone, don't tell her to pick you up.
Right.
Who does that? He said, I thought that was the reason.
I thought maybe he wasn't joking. He was being serious.
No, he was very serious. Men are boys. Just taller.
And bigger, yeah, right. You are so right.
I was like, I gotta teach him that. Okay, whatever. So, needless to say, he met me. We went out to eat again. This time, I let him come to my house because this time I'm like, okay, let me follow my rules, right? Let me follow God's rules. I let him come to the house and we talked. We ate. Whatever, and then he said, I'm not leaving. Like, I'm never leaving your side. It's a wrap. And I was like, okay. Okay.
Wow.
And that's how it happened. And that ended up being, and that lady that was sitting down, that was his mother. And what happened was, because he never saw me, he was talking to the people in the back of the restaurant with his big mouth or whatever, never looked at me. And his mother kept saying, there's a beautiful woman over there. You need to go talk to her before your wife walks through the door. And he was like, she kept nagging me. And he came outside, and that's when he said, you're a beautiful Trinidadian woman. And that's how it all happened.
So how
it was his
did
mom
he know
that
you were
picked me.
Trinidadian? Just
He heard my accent.
Okay.
When you're I was in
Yeah,
the
you're
restaurant.
in your
I was in
element.
my
You're-
I was like, hey, let me get a curry chicken with rice, and so I was in my element. So he heard it, which was good. At least I noticed he heard that. But it was his mom. He never saw me. He didn't even see me.
I love that.
And he was like, all right, fine, I'll listen to my mom. Mama's boy.
Wow.
That's okay. Yeah,
But I
so
love
that's
the
how it
fact
happened.
that just pointing out how he was listening. He had to have a little of humility. He was listening to his mom, and then you eventually were like, okay, let me listen to what God is saying and what He's showing me.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. So that's our little story. And then when we got married, we went right back to that restaurant and had dinner there. We kept going back there for any important dates or whatever until the restaurant closed. But it was good. It was good. Yeah.
And this was in New York?
No, this was here. This was in
Wow.
right on Highway 78 in Gwinnett, Lilburn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that special?
Thank you. So it's been good ever since. We're 10 years in. Ooh, don't judge me. Y'all cut that part out.
Edit it.
Girl,
I'm just
bye.
kidding. I think we're 11. How old's our son? He's 9. We're 10 years in. We're 10 years in. Yeah, in relationship. Yeah.
So what are we looking forward to moving on in the future?
Oh, I'm looking forward to a marriage that is beyond my prayer life, beyond my wildest dreams, beyond what I can think. I want whatever God thinks I should have, and that is something that I can't ask. So I'm just being open, willing, paying attention to the signs of where we're falling short, because we're not going to get there with any brokenness. We got to get there. It's like a Rubik's Cube. We got to keep.
Yeah.
So, that's really my biggest prayer. And the more we come together as a unit, the more the children come together as a unit, and the more the people around the children come together. Everybody feeds off of that aura. Remember when we talked about that? They feed off of that energy. So my goals with him is really to take us to next heights. My short-term goals are really to retire him, and not that I don't want him to work. He's going to work. But I want him to work for himself like I work for myself. And in order to do that, my business has to be at a certain level in order to do that. So we're doing great now. We're actually doing really good now. But he wants to see it. He's a consistent person. He needs to see it consistent for about maybe another 6 months. And then he'll be like, all right, I'm out.
I ask you how, and I love that. How do you see your destinies? Not that's not what I'm trying to say. Like your purposes. How do they intertwine? Like, do you see? Has God shown you kind of what his strengths and purposes?
Okay. Yes. Good question. That leads me back to the vision boarding, right? Because the way the time I take to do it, I don't do it in an hour. I don't do it sometimes it takes 3 days, because majority of it is I literally write out what do I want my relationship with my children to look like if there was no restrictions. Right? What do I want my faith life to look like if there were no restrictions? And what do I want my what's the other one? Family fitness. Ooh, fitness life to look like, right? And you're always going to have areas where you're stronger than the rest. And I specifically pointed out those 3 because after I figure out what I want to look like with no boundaries, because a lot of times we tend to create goals based off of what we currently have, based off of how much money we have, based off of how much time we have. So I do those 3 first, and then after I figure out what those 3 are, then I see break it down to the dollar. How much is it going to take to get there? How much money is it going to take to get them in this type of school, the swimming lessons? How I want to spend 3 hours a day helping with homework and doing this. Okay, well, that means I need to have X amount of time to do that, and I need my business to be doing this, and, so much.
To the 10th power.
Pardon?
Okay. Really good.
But this is what I learned from these are the mentors that are hard on me.
Bam.
This is where I learned. That's the name of their group. Bam.
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 Oh, look at you.
And you know what it stands for? Badass marketers.
Hey, and you said they're older, right?
They're younger.
Oh, I don't know why I thought
Josh is,
older.
I think they're like 34 or something.
Look at that.
Yep. So after you figure all that out, then you create your finance goal, because now you know what you need to make to the dollar and cent in order to accomplish it. So there's no swaying. So so it makes it easier for me to say no to certain things, because it's not according to what I spent 3 days structuring. You know what I mean? It's not working out with that. But I'm glad I said yes to this. I'm glad I said yes to this podcast. Listen, because God told me about a year ago, he said, you're going to start doing videos and you need to do videos.
Bam.
But you haven't been doing them. So I was talking to my sister 2 nights ago and I was like, God told me one time that I need to do videos. She said, Viola, you told me that a year ago and you didn't do it. I said, it's like, you're right. I don't know why it just popped in my head. And this was 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
2 days
Everything
ago.
works together.
So I am glad that I'm here. I'm glad we got this set up. And yes, I'm excited about this podcast. You ladies are awesome. All right.
You're
You
amazing.
ladies are
So lit. It's not even funny. And I look forward to seeing, because with your 4 pillars that you are working on, I just see, that's why I asked, were you a mentor to someone else? Because I see how much anybody, I'm not even going to just say young women, but it's specifically young women, but anybody can really benefit from everything that you have to offer. And
Thank you.
those people who need to find you or just see, they're going to see you on social media. So
Yep.
I look forward to hearing about it and actually watching you grow and you move and pour and give and flourish, because
Yeah.
there is such a need for that. There's a need for women of faith. There's a need for the balance. There's a need for a different message. And that's something that Nicole and I strive to put out with our content, is balance and a difference.
Yes.
So
yes.
all hands on deck. That's what I've just been feeling the last couple of days. It's like literally all hands on deck. It's not you. It's not me. It's not like, it's like all hands on deck.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
takes a village. So.
It takes a village. Listen, there isn't even a such thing as a self-made millionaire. They don't get there by themselves.
No.
They got a team. You gotta have. You
listen.
gotta have more than one. You gotta get the help. You know, like so. I it's no surprise to me that my mentors have as many mentees as they do now. When we started, I was in the hundreds. They're in the thousands now. You know, and not everybody adheres to it. You know, a few clean close, 10% really. But it makes a difference. So I'm excited to see how I'm going to help, because honestly, anytime I bring up those 4 pillars, it intrigues people. You know, it really does help people understand, like, you know what, you're right. Like I do need somebody to help me be a better father. You know, I do need somebody to help me to be a better sister.
Yeah.
Right? Like, these are all different roles that we play. And how in the world are we going to be good at it? And you're not going to be good at all 4.
Absolutely.
You're not. That's why we need help. That's why we need as much help as we could get. So
That's
I'm so
humility.
I'm so grateful. Yeah.
Well,
So
Viola,
grateful.
you
Thank
were like so
Such a treat.
so delicious. Like everything about this was just the best thing ever. And we thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you, ladies.
Such a breath of
Thank
fresh
you for
air.
having me. I really, really appreciate you. And as you guys know, check me out, GwinetteSEO.com.
Right.
I have a few other treats coming up, so stay tuned. Log in to all my, click the like and subscribe button, all of that, because I have a few other things coming up for industries that don't get as much shine as they need to get.
Nice.
You know, and I think it's been untapped for a long time. But you're in it, and you do it, and you're passionate
What are some
about it.
examples of some of those maybe is clients or industries that
You know, the hardest industry, which will sound so oxymoronish to you guys, but the hardest industry for me to work with is makeup and beauty. Here's
Really?
why. We are so critical,
yeah.
and we are so good in worrying about what doesn't matter.
Yeah. You need to teach a master class on that.
It's like, okay, I know I'm building your website, sweetie, but it's okay if this picture is over here and that one is over there. It's okay. Now, I also want you to be happy. And that's what I spoke about earlier. You know, I don't want to just do it and you be like,
Right.
follow me because what I said is go. I'm not a god, you know. I'm just, you know, I'm a guide.
Right.
You know, so, but that's the hardest thing. So that's one of the industries that I want to tap into very, very hard. And also too, they don't see the need to market themselves.
Yeah.
When's the last time you see somebody that said, yeah, I'm a hairstylist and this is my website, not my Stylesy site, not my, you know, all these other ones,
Instagram or
Booksy,
just like, yeah,
Instagram.
all that.
Where's your website?
I saw a few, like a couple years.
I have a friend who does that,
Yeah.
but she does market her website, but she's also trying to move out of that and put more her mobile business.
Yeah.
So yeah, she does do that, but I guess her mindset.
And I think they don't want to have to man it. They don't want to manage it. You know, sometimes
They don't want to pay.
Well,
And I understand that.
it.
And I understand that because I was an artist. I am an artist. And it's not easy. It's not easy to pack up your bags, go do somebody's, drive an hour, do their makeup for $100, come back an hour, and then you spend 3 hours, you break that up, and then you got to wait for the next gig, and you may missed a few calls because you're busy. It's not easy. So I can understand where there's a need, but also why they don't invest, because it's like, I need to know that I'm going to get a return on this investment. How do I know that?
That's true.
It's a very, very tough industry,
Yeah.
you know?
'Cause it seems like risky, right?
Yeah. I worked hard for this money. This is my eggs and bread, and, this is my, and it's like, you're telling me to do what? I could just go on Instagram for free. But everybody else is there,
And
right?
selfie,
How are we going to get you to stand out?
Right.
How are you going to be outstanding? And your skills are outstanding. There's so many talents out there. I mean,
There
there's
are
people
so
that
many
do-
talents.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to drop my niches because you never know. Some marketers might be listening. But I got some ideas in the industry that will definitely help.
Okay. Well, stay tuned with Miss Viola.
Absolutely. And to you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Make sure you follow her on her socials. Make sure do you have a newsletter?
A blog.
Okay, so
blog
make
on
sure
my
you
site.
check. That's on her site. Make sure you check out her blog. It is GwynetteSEO.com.
You got it.
Yep, GwynetteSEO.com. Thank you so much for tuning in to In Love with Love. Until next time.
Stay in love.
Have a good one.